I'm doing, listen, this would be is this the 11th cookie? The 12 day? 12.
It's your 11th cookie that you made.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to think.
They're not in order. So.
Right. They're not going to be in order, but this is the 11th number of cookies. And we'll have one more after this, and then we'll have the 12 days of Christmas cookies. And I tell you what, I really was impressed with the recipes that y'all shared with us this Christmas. I wouldn't turn none of them down. They were all so delicious. So, but now it's time for me to share with y'all. So this is a recipe that I have been making since my boys were maybe 6, 8. Bobby was probably 6. Jamie was probably 8. I don't know. I've been making them a long time. I've told the story in one of my cookbooks about these precious little boys. They'd run in the house and open up the crisper because I would wrap them individually in a plastic wrap, and they'd throw them all out to their friends, and every one of them had snot running down out of their nose, and they were sweaty and they kind of stunk. And I'd love to go back to that day to see my babies run in and ask for a chocolate gob. All right, so I'm moving on to Two Brothers Chocolate Gobs. This is really easy. It's just a little time consuming, y'all. So I've got, that can't be a cup. Oh, 1 cup divided. See, it's been a long time since I've made this.
A long time since you divided butter.
Well, this is actually not butter, Michael. It's butter flavored vegetable shortening, but it looks like butter, doesn't it? All right, so I've got my vegetable shortening, my butter flavored shortening. This makes a lot of gobs, y'all. We're going to add the eggs now and continue to beat this. These are some hard shells. Those eggs are eating, those chickens are eating a lot of oyster shells, yeah, because we give them oyster shells, and that makes their shells so much harder, so much harder to break. So that's good. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put in my vanilla while I've got this nice and creamy. I'm going to I got to have a cup of boiling water, so I'm going to turn that water off because it is boiling. All right, add eggs, combine to beat, stir in buttermilk and boiling water. Okay, in goes the boiling water. Stir in the buttermilk, the boiling water, and then blend this into the creamed mixture at low speed. And you do want to make sure that's at low speed because this is real thin. Okay, so that's nice and mixed. All right, I've got to have another bowl because now we have to sift our dry ingredients together. I knew I couldn't do this without getting it everywhere. I knowed it. All right, let's see what that is. That is half a teaspoon of baking powder and 2 teaspoons of baking soda that I'm mixing in with our flour. I'll go ahead. There's enough room now for me to throw in the cocoa. All righty. That gets it. We got all 4 cups of that flour and cocoa, the dry mixture, into our wet. And now we're ready to drop little dollops onto our baking sheet. And the thing about whoopie pies or pies made with cookies and all that, you can really make them any size you want to. Eddie was just telling me that his grandmother, when she made their whoopie pies, he said they'd be like this big and the filling like that high. So it's rich. I usually dropped it by the teaspoonful, and so I'd wind up with a gob like that. And it says to bake these on a ungreased cookie sheet, but okay, so let's see. About that much, because it's going to come out pretty good. And I'm just going to do 3 across because I don't want them to touch each other. You can see all of our cakes over here, and you can see now this was my hand doing this batter, and you can see I made them real small, almost like a 2 to 3 bite whoopie or gob. And this was Eddie's, and that's the size I had always made them before. So the filling makes these so good. Now what we're going to do is put in 5 tablespoons of flour, and we're going to incorporate a cup of milk. And you want to do this slowly, you know, to make sure you get the lumps out of it. Now we're going to put this over like medium heat. And we're going to cook it until it's real thick. And I mean, it's going to get real, real thick, y'all. Okay, that's right on medium. And you'll want to make sure you stir this. It's going to be delicious. And after this gets real thick, we're going to have to let it cool completely, because we've got our shortening, our butter, and our sugar and vanilla down here that we're going to incorporate your flour milk, your milk flour. We're going to have to incorporate it in that, and it's got to be cool, at least your filling turns too soft. You know, you don't want that. This is how thick it should get. That's pretty thick. And we're just going to let this cool. And I think I'm going to help it along by sticking it in the fridge. Our flour and our milk mixture has totally cooled. And you see how thick that is. So before we get started, I'm going to take my mixer, and I want to get this, you know, back to a more creamy stage. Okay. So we're going to get out another bowl. And we're going to cream our butter, our shortening, and our sugar and vanilla. On these cute little half sticks, right? That's great for if you're a single person, you know, living alone. That's a great size for, or even 2 people. All right. this is not nearly as good as that butter if you try to eat it. Okay, I'm going to add our sugar to the butter and solid shortening. I'm going to add our vanilla. Okay. Looks like mashed potatoes, doesn't it?
It does. Well, definitely the flour and
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to want to make sure that we get this nice and creamy. All right, it's time to start filling our chocolate gobs. So I'll do mine first, the little T90 ones. You know, and it just depends on how much filling you want. But you want to make sure that you use the same size, you know, so they'll match. All right, this one's, I think these two are the smallest. And like I said, I wrap each one of them individually, y'all. This is the final product. I still got to wrap them in the plastic wrap, but oh my goodness. Brings back so many memories. Now, y'all, it's been so long since I made these because my children don't eat as much sweets as they used to. But I would probably almost 1.5 times the filling because I do like them almost overstuffed. But you can decide. This is what one recipe yields. So try them. I think that your children will love them, your grandchildren, and your big children, like your husband or your wife, those big kids. So love and best dishes, y'all. Have fun deciding on what cookies to make this Christmas. Hey y'all, it's Paula Deen. Now, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it and click the subscribe button as well as the notification bell to be alerted when I post a video. Love and best dishes, y'all.